All right, let me get this straight. A man in a kabuki mask attacked you with an army of miniature flying robots.
Microbots? Baymax, tell him.
Yes, officer.
Ah! Come on!
I am not fast.
Jessica Ferrer for Entertainment Affair, sitting here today with Chris Williams and Don Hall.
Hello.
So I'm assuming that you guys are a fan of Japanese pop culture?
Yeah,
you may have noticed.
A little bit, yeah.
Has it always been like that? How did it come about?
Well, it's a little different for both of us because Chris grew up in Canada, I grew up in Iowa, and I never had the experience of watching Japanese animation. My into Japanese pop culture was the Godzilla movies, all the monster movies.
Right.
Oh God, I love those so much. And I also had a toy that was essentially called a Shogun Warrior, and it was based on I didn't know it at the time, but it was based on a Japanese anime, and it was a giant robot that had his name was Brave Ray Dean, and he had a rocket fist. So,
what are the odds?
Yeah,
giant
cut
robot,
to whatever 40 years later when you get into design your dream robot, it's he had to have a rocket fist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up. There was a show called Battle of the Planets that I used to watch when I was young, which was a repackaged version of a show called Gatchaman from Japan. And there was something I didn't understand that it was from Japan at the time. But there was just something about the sensibility, the storytelling, the aesthetic of it that I thought was really unique and cool.
You're gonna need some upgrades.
And what about Baymax? I mean, you're talking about the fist and all of that, and how did talk about the process of developing the robot Baymax.
It was a little bit daunting, considering that there's so many robots in movies and Transformers and on and on and on. So I did a research trip to various institutions back east. I did MIT, I spent some time there, Harvard, spent some time there, and Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh.
What did you do when you were there?
I talked with all of their roboticists, all the top roboticists, and I also, when we were in Japan, I talked to all the top roboticists. And again, I was looking for inspiration. I was trying to, learn about robotics as much as I could, but also just find something that would spark, just a spark of creativity. And it was at Carnegie Mellon University that I met this guy named Chris Atkinson, who was doing research in soft robotics. And I'd never seen anything like it. And it was a very crude arm, but it was made of vinyl, and it was filled with air. And the idea with soft robotics is that they'll use them eventually in the healthcare industry, making healthcare robots. And I'd never seen anything like it, and so it really was the closest to a sort of a light bulb moment or lightning strike moment I've ever experienced. And Baymax's entire character, the entire persona of Baymax, came from that research trip.
That's so interesting because I mean, when I saw it, honestly I thought I was going to go into a robot movie. Like, okay, and I had no idea. It's pretty much like a superhero movie with like Baymax, and it's just there's so much going on in this film.
Yeah.
And there's not a dull moment. Everything, the characters, the voices, the animation, everything just meshes. It just mixes so well together.
We knew we needed to make the emotion work. The emotional story had to be the thing that people came away with. And I think that's where people are a little surprised when they see the film. So they're expecting it to be funny, and they're expecting it to be action-packed, but I don't think they're quite expecting to be moved the way that they are. And that's the thing that we're ultimately most proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you're not expecting it to be anything the way it is, because you go in and it's like you just laugh, and then you're like, oh no, you start getting really sad again. It's just like an emotional roller coaster, but in a good way.
Yeah,
well, that's what we're going for.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Chance to bring home the Academy Award winner for Best Animated Feature. Disney's Big Hero 6 on Blu-ray and digital today.